Welcome back to From Day One, the overnight edition. Art Bell with his paranormal stories waiting in the wings for us. We first hit the old mailbag, which doesn't look like there's that much from the last time that you and I were together, just 2 hearts. So we will grab them. Remember the last yak that they had was the guy rambling on as his hard break came for a commercial break. So we resume with him as we hit our midnight in the desert.
Just rambling on there, and you kind of caught me off guard.
Okay, but now here you are, so you've got to finish up your story.
Okay. Well, this girl, she seemed to try to warn me to stay off this road, to stay away from the church. And now that we're actually seeing this little girl that was from my nightmares, standing on the porch of this abandoned church, flailing around at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when there are no houses in the area. There's no houses on this road. It's just a little side road that this church happens to reside on. Now, what is a 5 or 6-year-old girl who just it's just unnatural. And as we're going down the road, my friend asked me if I'm seeing the same thing that he's seeing. I said, I don't know. I'm too terrified to look over in that direction. So as we're going down the road, a huge owl swoops down at our car, almost smashing our windshield. Needless to say, we never went down that road ever again. But my friends who did happen to travel down that road said that it's always an eerie feeling whenever they stop at the church. You know, the church was just happened to be a stopping point to get a spooky feeling.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about the girl. Anything more on her?
Well, actually, yeah. My friend, his real name wasn't Fred. His name was Zach, but we called him Fred. I'm not exactly sure why, but
I don't even care why. The end of the story is?
The end of the story is my friend Fred went to the cemetery one night and accidentally knocked over a tombstone. He said that a girl apparition followed him around school until we went back and righted the tombstone.
Until you righted the tombstone. All right. I am going to consider that, for the sake of the audience, the end of the story, and I am going to go by phone to Hilo, Hawaii. Hello.
Hi, Art. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I am so glad you are back. I feel like reality has been restored in the world.
Reality radio.
Yes. Okay. So, when I was a teenager, this isn't a ghost story, but it is kind of abnormal.
Sure.
Abnormal. So, I'm a teenager with my best girlfriend, and we're in the mall, and we meet these boys that we think are way cool. We spend the day hanging out with them, and we give them our phone number, and we didn't hear from them that night. The next day, we wanted to talk to these boys. We were so boy crazy. We did everything that we could to find the phone number for these guys. The one guy, all we knew was the town he lived in, and that he was missing half his arm. So we did all kinds of crazy stuff to try and find their numbers.
What you begin to do? Call random people? Say, do you know anybody missing half their arm?
That is exactly what we did, Art.
Oh, my. And?
These 15-year-old boy crazy girls, okay? So, and I'm a Gemini like you. Mm-hmm. I have a great mind to be able to figure out anything. We called the fire department. Do you have a list of disabled people? I picked my brain all day, every single thing we could think of. Evening came and we didn't make any headway. We were so bummed. So we went to sleep. Then I'm sleeping, and in the middle of a dream, I guess it was kind of lucid dreaming.
Right.
I suddenly become aware that I'm dreaming. And what's happening in my dream is part of the day that we spent with these boys is being replayed in front of me like a video.
Ah, yes. Well, it was on your mind.
But it was the most boring part of the day we spent with them. It was part of the day when we were sitting in the middle of the mall, and the guy says, hold on, I have to go call home. And he walked away and walked over to a payphone to call his house.
Right.
And as I'm kind of lucid dreaming, I'm watching the raid in my dream, and I'm like, why I have to watch this part of the day again? This was the most boring part of the day.
You know, I've actually commented to myself about dreams like that occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Even while you're in the dream. I hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
While I was in the dream. So, but then I realized he's walking towards the payphone, which is facing me, and he's got his back to me, and I suddenly realized, wait a minute, if I pay attention right now, real close,
Oh,
I
you're
can
kidding.
probably
You're
tell.
kidding. You're going to get his number.
I watched which buttons he pushed on the phone.
Whoa.
And I thought to myself, this is your chance. You watch real close and you remember this number that he's going to push. And
Wow.
so I watched him, and I could see I couldn't see the numbers, but I could see the shape of the keypad, you know.
Oh, sure.
And I figured out which numbers he pushed, and I kind of forced myself to wake up, and I'm repeating the number over and over and over. Forced myself somehow to wake up. I turned on the light. I told my friend, oh my God, get me a pen. I got to write this number down. And I wrote it down, but it was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Uh-huh.
So we had to wait till 9 a.m. to call, and we called the number, and it was his number.
Oh, man. That is one cool story.
And that's a real story. And we remained friends for years after that. And, you know, I thought, what does this actually mean? And it could be sort of paranormal or something in the spirit world, but it could be just as simple as your mind really does videotape pretty much everything.
Well, I think it's pretty well known
that,
that, you know, if you can't remember, you know, for example, a crime scene, you can get put under and you can remember details that consciously you can't remember at all. So, yeah, the brain can do that, but what a cool idea that in the middle of a dream, you would have enough consciousness to say, oh my God, I can read the numbers and, pick it off and then have it be the right number. That's quite a story.
Yep, that was the part that really made it work, was that I realized this was my chance, and I took it.
Gotcha. That is wild. Thank you very, very much. That actually was a very cool call. Any of the rest of you able to, sort of participate in your dream in that way? That's the first I've ever heard of that. James, you're on the air. It's midnight.
Hey, Art, how are you tonight?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, quick story for you. I want to tell you the story of the most scary event I've ever had happen in my life, and it turned out to be totally bogus, but let me get ahead of, try not to get too far ahead of myself here.
Okay.
It was probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. All the lights were off in the house. I came out to get a glass of water, and in the hallway, I saw something, a figure, a silhouette, probably about 4.5 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, dear God, I was completely freaking out from this silhouette. Looked like it had mass to it. I couldn't make out a head or anything, but I just had to fight the urge to reach out and touch it. And after about 30 seconds, I just finally had to reach out, looked at what I thought was an arm. I touched it. It felt dark and scaly. It felt like a snake skin.
Oh, brother.
I screamed like a little girl.
Yeah.
I had 2 roommates that came out and turned on the lights and were laughing at me because it was a vacuum.
A vacuum.
Yeah, Roswell's Art. It's really good to hear your voice.
Thank you very much.
I have one really quick comment. Too.
Yes. Right.
You're in stereo now, and it sounds absolutely wonderful. Have you thought about panning your voice over to one channel and then your guest over to the other?
Yeah,
and then we
I've thought of it.
Listen, kind of round table style.
I know. Trust me, I thought of it. Thank you for mentioning the stereo, and thank you for the call. Listen, I'm telling you all, it is pretty cool. The audio quality is absolutely amazing. So what I'm recommending is that you get earbuds. If you're listening on a phone or, I don't know, tablet or something like that, for goodness sakes, grab some earbuds, because that will bring the full experience to you. This is radio unlike, it's not radio exactly. It's what's next. But this digital experience is about 1 million miles. Okay, let me tell you a quick story. When I was working for Sirius XM, this is not their fault. This part is not their fault. They shipped me everything. So if you called to talk to me, for example, I think that your call would be answered in Washington, D.C., and then it would get shipped, I believe, to New York, if I remember correctly, and then back to me. So the total time of the delay between what you would say and I would say would become enormous by the time it got back here. That was one problem. The other was that it didn't come very coherently across that span of distance. So the experience that we're having here with this amazing digital quality is entirely different than anything I've ever done. That means with any network, any place, any time. It's just all new. That's why we say it's not radio, but, oh yes, it's what's next. In California somewhere, you're on the air. This is midnight. Hi. It's 11:11, if that worries you. 11:11.
Hi, it's Joy.
Hi, Joy.
Your friend on Facebook
Yes.
with the hummingbird avatar?
Oh, yes. Well, I do have 5,000 friends on Facebook, but Joy, yes, I know you.
Yeah, hi. The only problem I have with listening online is that I can't, when I'm on the phone, I can't hear the show.
When you're on the phone, you can't hear. Well,
Right,
no, but
I'm
we
at
do
home.
we do ship the audio down the line. Anyway.
Anyway, two things I have to share with you. One is my paranormal experience.
Okay.
And also today, my husband just got out of surgery, and I have to give great kudos to nurses. We need to give them credit and thank them when they do a good job.
We do, and they do. Yes.
Anyway, my paranormal experience goes back to, I think, about 1996.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having dinner with friends overlooking the Monterey Bay.
Oh, that's a beautiful place, yes.
Beautiful venue. It was approaching, it was twilight, but getting darker.
Mm-hmm.
And
we'll try it again.
Walking, hello?
Somebody said something about trying it again. I have no idea what that was. Anyway, continue.
Okay. I was walking outside after dinner, just walking along the poolside, and I was looking out over the bay. And all of a sudden, I saw this huge green light coming up from out of the bay.
Out of the bay? Out of the water?
Out of the water.
Oh.
And it was this really large green yellowish light. And I was like, what in the world is that? And as it came up, you could see kelp dripping on the sides of it, because Monterey Bay has lots of kelp in it.
Oh, yes. Was this like a metallic object? How big was it?
All I could see was the light at that point.
Okay.
Because we were far enough up into the Soquel Hills that we couldn't really see. I couldn't really see what it actually was. I could just see the light, because the light was blurring out everything else.
Okay, so then the kelp was sort of hanging off the light or something, right? To be able to see it? Okay.
Yeah. And then now we were in Soquel, and this was a little bit north of Soquel, and on down towards the Monterey Bay is Moss Landing, which is a power plant.
Right, I lived in Moss Landing once.
Oh, okay, so you know this area really well.
I do.
And this rose up out of the bay very, very slowly and was hovering over the bay, and then started moving slowly all the way to Moss Landing until it was about parallel to the top of the power of the
big power lines that come over. Yeah, I know.
Where the smokestacks are.
It's like, I think they're 750 volt lines now. They're gigantic.
Right, but this was opposite smokestacks. You know, those really tall stacks.
Yes.
And it stayed there for about 30 minutes. And we were watching it.
Yeah.
At this point, my husband and the people we were having dinner with, we were all looking at it. And we not only were looking at it just off the deck. We were looking at it through one of those spyglass telescopes.
But by now, people should have been grabbing cameras and video cameras and all kinds of things.
You would think. I called the local radio station, and they just said, "Oh, you're just seeing a fishing boat." I'm like, "A fishing boat?
Really?
That high in the air?"
No kidding.
Yeah, it was one that was carrying your station, your show, which astounded me. So we looked at it through the spyglass, and what we saw were a number of lights that were going around at least the one side that we could see from where we were at. They were amber green lights that were elliptical.
Oh.
And my friend and I, one of the people who was looking at it with me, people we were having dinner with, looked at it through the spyglass, and we could see, those spyglasses that you could look at over the bay.
Sure.
The long copper ones, the long brass ones.
Right.
Well, we were looking at it, and both of us saw this thing that looked like this long arm that was going out from one side out towards the actual smokestacks, and it looked like it was taking something from them.
Holy moly.
It was very, very bizarre. And we watched this for another 15 minutes. It was just hovering there in the air. And finally, it winked out. Just
winked out.
Winked. Like an eyeball closed.
Got it. Winked out. That's incredible. Well, I have no idea what you saw. Something really big, something that came up out of the water, and that's something that I really want to talk with the audience a little bit about. We're always talking about UFOs. There's really there's a lot of stuff that comes up out of the water. Seamen have seen it. Sailors, have seen it. There's a lot more than you think below the water, and we don't know much about it.
Monterey Bay is deep.
Yes.
Deep. And who knows where it goes to? Could be anything.
Could be anything. All right. Thank you very much. We got to kind of pause right here.
All right, again, we'll be back as soon as they return to the radio airwaves out of their musical bumper. Of course, with Art Bell. Alright, let's grab ourselves another fight. Not quite yet. Oh, I thought they were back. My apologies. Lord's Embrace.
Free to sniff our packets. Then, with a smile on your face, please call the show at 1-952-225-5278. That's 1-952. Call-ART.
You know why you hear this song a lot? Because I love it. I'm just stuck on this tune. And because I can play it. So I do. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Paranormal Story Night. We could probably do this week in and week out because virtually everybody has one, right? Some kind of paranormal story. it's kind of a paranormal world out there, and these things do happen to people. All right, let's see where to go. How about Scott? Your turn.
Hello, Art.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well indeed.
I just want to talk about I do have a paranormal story,
Oh, good.
but I want to just talk about my computer setup for a second
Because
because it's very interesting. I've got a computer dedicated to your show right now.
dedicated to it. I like that.
It's dedicated, and I've also got a computer dedicated to Skype.
Oh my.
So I'm using two computers simultaneously right now.
That's a lot of dedication.
And you're being transmitted to my television as a beautiful, I don't see you obviously, but you are being transmitted as a full screen in high definition, me and you both as a graphic equalizer. I'm not using the Roku box right now because I'm using my computers because I can get you on TuneIn on the Roku box.
You're a dedicated fan.
And also I have to give you many Roswells.
Thank you. I collect Roswells.
And also this is the very first time I've ever been able to talk to you ever after all these years.
Well,
So
that is something. I mean, you're obviously prepared.
And and talking to you along, to me, this is a paranormal experience, right? Automatically.
Okay.
Because I never thought I would get a hold of you in the first place.
I can almost picture you in front of all these computers and screens and knobs.
I'm standing in front of them right now.
There you have it. Okay.
So I do have a paranormal. This has been going on ever since I've lived where I am right now.
Unwind your story.
Okay, so it doesn't happen all the time, but it'll happen. Like it happened like a few days ago.
And it is.
I'll go to sleep at night, and I will hear voices. I will hear screams.
Mm-hmm.
I will hear people in my ear. It's not like a dream or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be kind of sleeping, but it's not a dream. And I'll hear right in my ear someone mention my name. Like they're trying to talk to me in my ear.
I have actually had that happen too.
I've had it happen a lot.
When you're in between awake consciousness and sleep, there is that little area. I could swear I've heard my name yelled out.
Yep, screamed. I've had it screamed at me.
What's that all about?
I have no idea. And it's only happened to me in this place. It's never, I've lived in other places, this is never, maybe maybe once, like a fleeting moment.
Well, it's a very vulnerable time.
Yeah, you're in between things, like you said, you're in between, it's like you're kind of sleeping, but you're kind of not.
Maybe that's when somebody on the other side can reach you.
It could be. I also have two quick UFO stories. They're not going to be long.
Well,
other people.
I'll take one UFO story.
Okay.
Give me your best shot.
This was like 2013. We'll say 2013.
Okay.
I'm just looking outside. I'm not. Too bad I didn't have a camera or anything, but I'm just looking outside. And just out of nowhere, it's a blue ball within a blue ball, and it's in the middle of the night. It's not middle of the night, but it's late.
So it's not like a wheel within a wheel, but a ball.
No, it's a blue ball with a blue ball, and and it's going straight down. There's no sound.
So you had two blue balls.
Yeah, they were all in it was one thing, but you saw the outer, and it had like an inner center.
Yes, okay, yes.
Continue. And it had kind of like a flame. It's going vertical, straight down. There's no sound, and there's kind of a flame coming off the end of it. A little kind of like a triangle.
Okay.
And there's no sound, and you see it disappear. There's no explosion, no sound, no anything.
Uh-huh. Okay, so bottom line, why am I doing this? Bottom line, it's too early for the music. I just couldn't get past some of the details of that story. I'm not going there. Let's go to Trey. Trey, welcome to the program. You're on the air.
Hey, Art.
Hey.
Hey to Bell Gab.
You're a bell gabber.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Can describe Trey, Belgab, I've called them various things, including vaguely lovable, but they're also, on occasion, mean as hell, right?
I don't think there's a better way to describe them than that.
Okay. All right. So you navigate your way through that, and you're okay with it.
Love it.
Got it. Okay. What's on your mind?
Well, when I was younger, we had some weird experiences. My sister and I, we had moved into a brand new house,
Yes, sir.
and frequently we'd wake up at night feeling like something was tickling us. I know this sounds odd, but
No, it's after two blue balls and a flame. You know, it's
yeah.
not odd.
But you could feel this sort of like malicious thing. I don't know how to describe it.
Okay.
It's horrible.
Actually, it is true. If something is malicious near you, you definitely can feel it.
It's just so palpable.
Yes.
But
Good word.
it sort of culminated one night when I used to stay up late watching Nick at Night, and the Dick Van Dyke Show was on.
Right.
And it was the Walnut episode. I don't know if you remember that one.
Not particularly.
Anyway, I had just gone to bed, and my alarm went off in the room. Woke up, turned it off, go back to sleep. Happens again.
Mm-hmm.
So, once again, repeat the process. Other alarms in my room start going off, like on little video game consoles and whatnot.
Right.
It keeps happening, and I'm just trembling. I'm actually getting kind of upset thinking about this right now. But anyway, after a while, I unplugged everything, took the batteries out of everything, happened again.
Well, wait a minute. It happened after you...
Happened again.
Oh, baby.
I'll tell you what got weird about it was...
Okay, we've got a break here. Can you hold?
No problem.
All right. Putting you on hold. Stay right there.
And again, we'll be back as soon as they finish the deal. Nothing to fear, as this is Midnight in the Desert. There, I'll finish your line for you because of the musical bumper. Again, as soon as the musical bumper fades away, we will return.
I'm Leo Ashcraft. There's no foreseeable relief for Iran as its temperatures hit the feel-like temperature of 163 degrees Fahrenheit. Due to extreme heat and humidity, Bandar Mashar registered an apparent temperature of 154 degrees on Thursday. However, such exceptional apparent temperatures outdid itself on Friday. The combination of an actual temperature of 115 degrees and a dew point temperature of 90 degrees pushed the apparent temperature to 163 degrees Fahrenheit on Friday afternoon. This reading would have been even higher if a breeze was not blowing, a factor in the calculation of apparent temperature. A strong ridge of high pressure has persisted over the Middle East through much of July, resulting in the extreme heat wave in what many would consider one of the hottest places in the world. Amid this heat wave, Baghdad experienced its all-time record high on Thursday when temperatures soared to 124 degrees. As the land heats up around the Persian Gulf, the air rises quickly and rushes inland from the Gulf, creating an onshore wind that pulls humid air sitting over the waters into coastal communities. Water temperatures in the Persian Gulf are running a bit above normal, contributing to even higher than normal humidity. Believe it or not, it is always very humid in these places surrounding the Persian Gulf during the summer. But the nature of the extreme heat wave is causing some of the highest combinations of heat and humidity ever observed. Relief from the oppressive heat and humidity along the Persian Gulf will not come anytime soon. As it appears now, the ridge of high pressure will remain in place across the Middle East through at least the next week. A video shot in Japan's port city of Osaka has been making the rounds online, displaying a swarm of white spherical objects of unknown origin flying across the sky. The low-quality footage has triggered speculations over extraterrestrial life and UFOs. The 2-minute clip shows the mysterious round objects moving quickly in the sky while following a dance-like pattern. The footage, which has been reposted a few times from a Japanese YouTube channel, left many viewers puzzled as to what the flying anomalies may be, and also spurred several conspiracy theories. Some reports point out that the Japanese UFO sighting closely resembled the white lights witnessed in June over Hyde Park in London, UK. Find out more at artbell.com. An Ebola vaccine developed by the Public Health Agency of Canada and tested in Guinea has turned out to be almost 100% effective. This news comes from the World Health Organization coming Friday, citing the British medical journal The Lancet. The researchers used the newly developed Ebola shot in so-called ring vaccination, the method that helped eradicate smallpox in the past. It is based on vaccination of all people who came into contact with an infected person, creating a so-called protective ring that prevents the disease from spreading. About 4,000 of those involved were assigned to immediate vaccination after confirmation of the contact with an infected person, and about 3,000 others to delayed vaccination 21 days after the contact. Pregnant and breastfeeding women were excluded from the test. In the period between April 1st and July 20th, more than 3,500 people were vaccinated. As a result, no patient got sick with Ebola after immediate vaccination, whereas 16 people got sick among those who got delayed vaccination. In other words, current findings show near 100% efficiency of the vaccine. The latest Ebola outbreak started in early 2014 and embraced primarily 3 West African countries, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Guinea. Up to July 26, there were 27,784 registered cases and 11,294 people died from the virus. So the good news, it looks like our neighbors to the north have developed a possible cure. I'm Leo Ashcraft for Dark Matter News.
Thank you, Leo. Again, muting for the fact that they're back in a musical bumper. Second they do complete that bumper, we will return to them. Yep, there's still music. I had to check real quick. Hopefully should be back to them in just a few seconds.
Want to take a ride? From the high desert and the great American Southwest, this is Midnight in the Desert, exclusively on the Dark Matter Digital Network. To call the show, dial 1-952-CALL-ART. That's 1-952-225-5278.
Oh, you know that song, right? That is the O of Pleasure and Whitley's theme song. The one I picked when the program started, and the one he continues with to this very day. Whitley's a good friend. All right, over back to Trey, that is. You're back on the air, Trey.
Yes, I'm sorry. Got a little nervous at first.
Okay, well, now you've had a chance to relax, and you can finish up.
I'm a climate. But anyway, that night, after all the weird stuff was going on with the electronics, it sounded like a dog laughing coming from behind my dresser.
A dog laughing?
A dog trying to laugh as if it was a human being. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a sort of demonic laugh that sounded like more like a wolfish or dog. Like it was super creepy.
Yeah.
And then after that night that happened, from then on for maybe like 2 months, my sister would get up and start sleepwalking around the house and screaming about people trying to kill her, saying that this strange thing. She would scream, and she seemed just out of step with everything around her. And she would always wander into my great-grandmother's room, who happened to be born on the same day as her, and just sit there in the dark next to all of her things, her little crochet and needlework she used to do.
That's creepy.
Just incredibly bizarre.
All right. Well, thank you very, very much for the call. Sleepwalking is really creepy. My sister, one of my sisters, was a sleepwalker, and it's odd. It's just, all I can say is it's creepy. Let's go overseas somewhere and say, Michael, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Where are you?
I'm calling from Newcastle in England.
Newcastle, England. All right, excellent. Have you had your coffee yet?
No. Funny enough, I've just finished some beer.
Beer?
Having said that...
Now, wait just one moment. It's very early in the morning there, right?
I've been awake virtually all night. I'm a chronic insomniac.
All right.
But years ago, I think I sent you a really true story, and it was spooky but not frightening, about an encounter with an angel or an angel statue in a graveyard. It never ever got published, but I don't know if you ever remember you reading it.
Well, an angel would be nice, but in a graveyard it might feel a little creepy.
Well, it is weird in this regard. We'd way back in 1972, I was in the Royal Air Force, and we just finished a night shift at Strike Command's headquarters at RAFI Wickham. And as the shift finished, we all decided it was a nice, beautiful summer evening. It would be nice to go into High Wycombe, get some beer and a couple of pizzas. They'd only just started up in them days, pizza shops, and go and have a picnic. Beautiful parts of the country. It's rolling hills, Chiltern Hills. But the best place to go was the top of a hill, under which the Hellfire Club used to hold its meetings in West Wickham. And from there you could see right down the valley towards Oxford, where you could see the lights of Oxford.
Yes, sir.
So in we go. On the top of this hill as well, there's a mausoleum dedicated to one of the Dashwood family, who had his heart. He died in the Crusades. He had it. Excuse me while I have a cough. He had his heart brought back, because he died there in the Holy Land. Brought back, and there was a whole huge mausoleum built just to hold his heart. Now, this might sound a bit spooky, but it wasn't. It was a beautiful, beautiful setting. So we sit down on the edge of this graveyard, looking down the valley towards Oxford, and we get the beer out. There's half a dozen girls and half a dozen lads, and as you can imagine, we sort of broke up and mixed up into groups.
Okay, Michael, we're short on time here, so we've got to get to it.
Granted, but the thing was, we were sat underneath this huge statue, and it must have been 11 foot tall, of an angel holding a laurel wreath, which is quite common in Britain, because most war memorials look like that.
Right, a lot of statues.
So we had a great night. This thing wasn't weird at all. It didn't do anything, didn't say anything. Following morning, one of the girls, I reckon she left her handbag in the graveyard. And as we were off duty that day, we went back up to the graveyard to find a handbag. And it was still early, 7 o'clock in the morning. And we searched for it. We couldn't find the handbag. But even weirder, we couldn't find this statue. It wasn't there.
The whole statue was gone.
The whole statue was gone. And it was a center point. I mean, one of the lads had actually said that night, we ought to blindfold her in case she got corrupted by what she was seeing, kind of thing. It wasn't a spectacularly interesting statue. I mean, it was a beautiful statue.
But it was gone.
It didn't do anything, didn't say anything, but it wasn't there the following day, which is the weirdest thing you ever come across. There was no other statues of any angels which could have been remotely mistaken for her. So there you go.
Yeah, statues, big ones, don't often disappear. There's no question about that. All right, well, thank you very much for the call. Weird, if you saw a gigantic statue of an angel, and then you went back the next morning when you'd been there that night and it was gone. Yeah, that's strange. You are on the air. Dave, I believe it is. Hello?
Hello, it's Dave Carr from Australia here. I've been listening to your show. Actually, I heard you via Tom Likas earlier in the day.
You heard me on Tom Likas?
Yes, that's probably where you got a lot of your Australian. All of a sudden, a lot of Australian audience came probably from that show.
That could be. The thing about Australia is that it's the right time in Australia. In other words, it's kind of the middle of the.
It's only 4:45 p.m. in the afternoon.
Yeah, see, there you go. In England, it's early morning. In Europe, so it's not as convenient.
Exactly. But no, I used to listen to you when you used to be on KFI back in the days. You used to be on before Leo Laporte came on. That's how I first came to hear of you. So that's going back a few years. That's before all the US stations started to they started blocking their content outside of the United States.
Yes, how were you? That's right, it is blocked, I believe. How were you hearing KFI? You were here in the U.S. or what?
That was back in we're talking about the early 2000s.
Okay, so they weren't blocking at that point.
Not at that point, because I used to be able to listen to Leo Laporte on there. Right. So you used to be on before him, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's going back a fair few years.
Yes, sir. Do you have a paranormal anything for us?
Yes, I do. Back in around 1975, when I was living in a house in North Dubbo, there was a couple of occasions just before the local ABC radio station would sign off for the night. The place used to have a front veranda. Used to hear these footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, it kind of used to freak me out. But I remember my late mother even said she'd seen shadows in the lounge room. So I don't know what it was exactly, but it only happened to me twice in the time, and that was all roughly around 1975, 1976.
Some people call those shadow people, actually.
Yes, yeah, that's right. But it's don't know what the origin of the apparition was. The true story. All I know is down the road there used to be a local dairy that used to produce the milk. Apparently somebody died there.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that apparitions frequently come from people who've had violent deaths.
Uh-huh. Well, there was a well on the site too where we used to live. That's probably the other thing we can put too. I mean, that's the only previous history I know of the place where I was living at the time in Dubbo, New South Wales.
Well, it could be that somebody, went into the well. I hate to even suggest that, but it's a possibility. Let's go to the phones. Bakersfield, I think.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I do. I hear you. Proceed.
Speak, dear. Speak.
Go ahead. 10-4.
Do you think you're going to be able to get me on?
Do you have something really interesting to say?
Yes, actually I do. I have one very interesting story that happened to me in college.
Okay, then. You're on the air.
All right.
So, that's it. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Proceed. Tell your story.
Dear,
okay.
You're on the air.
Thank you.
I'm on the air now, or?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see. My story is back when I was in college, I woke up around 3:00 in the morning, one morning, and there was a woman standing next to my bed, and I remember exactly what she was wearing. She was wearing a a black dress, and she had a navy blue polka dotted apron on, and she was holding she had rubber gloves on, and she was holding a towel in her hands. And
only a woman would remember the fashion statement made by the entity.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But I remembered exactly what she looked like. I know that she had dark hair and she had it up in a bun. And I didn't mention anything about it to my other roommates at the time because I was like, well, they're not going to believe me. I look over and I see this strange woman standing over my bed.
Sure.
So I what I just didn't say anything about it. And the next day, one of my roommates went into the kitchen to go make something, and then all of a sudden I hear her scream in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
She is just freaking out, and I go in there, and I said, "Well, what happened?" She says, "I just went in here, and there was a woman standing by the sink," and she described what the woman looked like and everything. And she says, "It looked like she was washing dishes in the sink," and then I turned around and she was gone. And I said, "Oh my God, that's the same woman that I saw that was like standing over me in my bedroom like a week ago."
Right.
Since my grandmother is probably the most spiritual person, or she was the most spiritual person in my family, I called her up and I gave her the description of the woman that I saw.
Right.
And it was actually it was her mother that I had seen.
Oh my.
And yeah, it was because I described exactly what she looked like and what she was wearing and the type, like down to the apron and the dishcloth that she had. It was like this alternately striped like white and yellow dishcloth.
Which you described and she identified. Wow.
Oh yeah, she identified it, and it was just. She said, "Oh yeah, probably just that's just my mom checking up on you." And I said, "Well, can you tell your mom not to do that because she scares the living hell out of one of my roommates."
Well, that's a good one. That's really a good one. Frequently people see loved ones who have passed on, but for somebody else to have seen a loved one who passed on and to be sharing that experience, now that is strange. Somebody called Classified has tempted me to answer. That's an interesting, plus there's a big picture of the gray on this person's Skype. So Classified, hello.
Mr. Bell, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, God.
I have to keep this very brief, so I'll get to the point. I was involved with an organization that hacked into classified NSA servers, top secret.
Seriously?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, seriously? You...
Yeah, and NSA monitors Skype, so I have to keep this quick.
I know they do. Okay.
I came across partial documents which contained what appeared to be evidence of the United States government in compliance with extraterrestrials using genetically modified foods, locally known as GMO. The goal was to experiment with modifying human DNA so extraterrestrials and the human immune systems don't attack each other upon contact. This is to facilitate their crossbreeding agenda. These extraterrestrials are trying to stop organic food movement because they want everyone to eat these GMOs. That is what it appeared. This could be just disinformation. This could be real, but that's what it showed when we got into their servers. The U.S. government's using high-frequency active auroral research program, HAARP, to cause the devastating drought on the West Coast so they can bankrupt and buy out the organic farms to keep prices high. I have to go right now. Goodbye. Have a great show.
Wow. Well, I'm going to say that's unusual, and we might hear from him again, or we might never hear from him again. No idea who that was. Just called himself Classified. And I hope we hear from him again, frankly. Very quickly, I think it's Matthew. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi. We've got very small time, Matthew, so you've got to get it out quick.
Yes, sir. I want to give a shout out to Haunted Skeptic and to Bradley if he's listening, but I called because your out of body experience that you described when you had the guest on the other day.
Yes. It
sounds almost identical to what my grandmother said. Pentecostals have a type of worship called falling out in the spirit.
Right.
They just get so overwhelmed while they're worshiping that they just, for lack of a better word, they faint. But what you described, such a warm and welcoming thing.
Right.
That's what she described, almost word for word. The words you used were what she described to me. And I wondered if you could comment on that a little bit.
I can, a little bit. I had that experience, and it was, as I said, overwhelming joy, there aren't words for it. It was so overwhelming, there are not words for it. And it was very quick because it shocked me so badly that I immediately snapped out of it. And that was my extremely short but powerful OBE. I wish I could do as you heard the other night described with regard to getting out of body, but I don't know. Maybe I can learn it. Maybe I can do it. I want to thank you all for a really cool night of open lines. If you want to hear more open lines, let me know. You know, this is your program, so what you want is what's going to happen. For now, sadly, that's all there is. It flew by, didn't it? Goodness. There are moments from this night that I will remember forever. With that said, from the high desert to the world, good night all.
I hope all that does get through and YouTube does not block any of that, because he was talking over the musical bumper for Midnight in the Desert there as that final question and answer was being done. But that was the Open Line Paranormal Stories episode of Midnight in the Desert, originally aired July 31st, 2015. Let me take a look at the recording time. Well, we do have a few minutes. If I had something else, I would play a bonus clip or two, but oh, hold on. Actually, that does remind me. We do actually have something that we need to go ahead and address, and since we have this few moments, this would be the perfect time to do so. As you can see here, the astral season will be disappearing in just a few moments from now. 18 minutes and 10 seconds to be precise, as today was the last day. But between part 2 and part 3, a anonymous benefactor who does not wish to go ahead and have their name be mentioned figured he wanted to see what if we would have the items from the astral season. So he did send us to $9.39, and to prove that we did use it there, let's go into the astral season. As you can see, the gold ticket is now activated, with the season ending in just 17 minutes of time. Now I'm going to let the system automatically collect these when the top of the hour occurs. As you see, it'll be a 3-star Ishmael, which will basically mean we'll get 80 stones for Ishmael. 10 rare enchantment runes, which will move us to 91. 2 million in gold. That's the first 2 million. We're going to keep track of those as we scroll across. 500 agility stones. A 2-star Mara, which I don't know, maybe might make Mara high enough to be 3-star in the pet world. 500 strength stones, 500 intelligence stones, 80 of the huge experience potions. These are 7,500 a pop. So you'd be looking at 75,000 times 8 for 480 plus what? Another 40, about 520,000. Galahad would get an angelic skin. That was number 9. 3,000 of the coins that we remember just got the 100,000. We spent 60 though to absolute star out Yasmin's book. 3 more million in gold, so that gets us to 5 million from that 2 million back there. 10 Chaos Core, 3,000 Titan Potions. So we'll start that count. And 1,000 of Emeralds. A 1-star Water Titan, which will basically mean just some stones. 15 Rare Enchantment Runes. 100 of each of the 3 artifact items. And that, of course, being the Flawless Artifact Metal, the Flawless Artifact Essence, and the Flawless Artifact Scroll. 15 of the Summoning Spears, and another 1,500 round of the Intelligence, Agility, and Strength Stones as we scroll those across. 3 stars for Fox. I do believe we already have her, so that'd be another 80 there. 10 more thousand of the coins that we had won the 100,000 jackpot. Going with those, so that'll be 13,000 of those. 10 more thousand of the Titan potions to go with that, so that's 13 of that. Just like the water, then you'll get a Earth Titan stones. Another 200 of the Super Big Money Experience potions. That goes with those, so that'll be 80 plus the 200. So 280 of those. 5,000 of the Attack Arena coins. 1,000 of the Emeralds to go with the 500. To go with the 1,000 from before. So that gets us 2,000 Emeralds thus far, as we're at level 30. Another 5 million gold that goes with the 2 and the 3 from before. That gets us 10 million in gold. 50 Big Money Black Balls. Faceless will get a solar skin now. Then the set of 2,000 of the skins to go with yet another 1,000 emeralds. So that's 3,000 emeralds. 15,000 pet potions. There's the Fire Titan to go with the water and earth. 25,000 of the essence coins. 15,000 more of the potions for the Titans. To go with that, 28,000 now in total. 10 more million in gold. That gets us to 20 million. Now we have a round of 200s of the glyphs. 50 Big Money Black Balls. Stellar Skin for Karf. 7,500 of the Grand Arena coin. 25 of the Ogs. Super Titan, which for us again very likely will be that boy right there, Raji. Because otherwise I think it's going to be just 250 or something like that. Stones, which will not be a... Yeah, 250 otherwise. And we will get 5 Astral Boxes to go with the 1 box we already have for a grand total of 6. That will occur in just over 11-ish minutes from now when the day resets. So, let's see, how many emeralds are we from the next? Oh, sorry. What is it, keys or shopping days? Oh, we gotta spend 5,000 to get to the next threshold. And we would need another 876 energies to get us to the next level of there. One other thing that did do, however, is the 500 points that it did earn did go ahead and take us to VIP 5, which now, no, I don't want to do I want to do this. This, this, and this does now let us to do the multi-raids. Oh, we actually got a whole bunch of these bow scrolls. That's actually quite nice. And that will, for the future events, allow us a nice little pickup. Wait a minute. Hold on. Is this now actually... It ain't showing because of the money requirement. But we could take care of the +3. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So we're going to have a great day 39. It may get a little crazy, especially if my sister still tries to take me out and about for tomorrow night, but we'll handle that if and when that arises. Until then, make sure you do like, share, and subscribe. Get us to those goals so Boxy from Nexters will pay attention to us. That's 5,000 views, 1,000 subscribers, so YouTube pays attention. Again, get your own free crypto from coinbase.com/join/the personally $10 free for signing up. And then 2-minute lessons, 1-question quizzes through Coinbase Earn to get yourself up to another $100 in crypto that way. Dexter's does take it, whether you'd want to have emeralds, Valkyrie's favor, purchasing tickets for seasons like the Astral season that's just leaving, or any other item your heart would desire. We'll see you tomorrow for day 37. Until then, it's always a great new world to release the Kraken. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.